Hi, welcome to the My Perspective podcast. I'm your host, Shelby, and I'm so excited for you to be here today. Today, we're talking about getting a dog in your 20s. So, if you listen to a lot of my episodes, you'll have definitely heard my dog Miso in the background, especially in the earlier episodes. He is notorious for barking, whining, just overall attention because I do have a mini golden doodle. And yet I didn't know that golden doodles are known for being very talkative, and he definitely is. So today we're going to talk about pretty much, I have no structure for this episode. I'm just sitting in my kitchen, ready to spill everything about getting a dog in your 20s. I mean, I wasn't even 20 when I got him, so even getting a dog just in college. As always, make sure that you are subscribed. I think that's the right word, or maybe it's following the show so you don't miss an episode. I post on the Instagram, My Perspective Pod, for any episodes that are coming out. And also, as always, if you like this episode, share it to someone who's maybe thinking of getting a dog or already has one and needs some tips. And the puppy stage is really more difficult than people make you realize. Let's go into today's segments. So I always start off with just an update of things that's gone on. So I recently got back from Florida on Thursday. So Max and I celebrated our 4-year anniversary, which is insane to think about. 4 years sounds so long to other people, but to Max and I feel like I've known him my entire life. And so I'm like, 4 years doesn't sound long enough. But then if anyone else tells me we've been dating for 4 years, I'm like, dang, that's so long. Literally, this has probably been one of our best trips together. I went out to Jupiter, Florida, because that's where spring training is. And it's nice that I know exactly every year where we're going to spend our anniversary, because any other time I go visit him, it's anywhere in the US. And he's in a very nice part of Jupiter, so I am not sad about that at all. We did massages, we went to the movies, we went to the beach. I got to watch him play. So this whole week that I was there was so nice. Definitely was a good way to kick off being apart for the next 6, 7, 8 months. And then also I have a friend, Shannon. She's also dating one of his teammates, and we became friends on my 21st birthday. I met her then. And I honestly was also so excited to go to Florida just to hang out with her, because the guys are pretty much gone all day. Actually, not even that bad. So I pretty much hung out with her, I think 3 or 4 times being there, and we went on a double date, and that was so fun. I loved hanging out with her. Yeah, love the baseball life and meeting other girls. It's really nice to just have someone that's in the exact same life stage as you. Dating someone who's a baseball player is so specific, and if you're not in it, you just don't get it. And as much as you try to get it, you don't until you're in it. So it's nice to have a friend who's going through the exact same thing. There's no other updates besides that. I'm just glad to be back in Orange County, getting my to-do list done. I've been really grinding out my health coaching classes, posting on social media, and all of those sorts of things. I'm trying to be more structured with myself, and I don't know, I'm going through like a weird balance of working hard and getting everything done off my to-do list, like I just said, and trying to build my career, make money, but also trying to listen to my body and rest, because I'm abnormally tired, I think, for my age, and I really shouldn't be. My obsession of the week last week was fruit or kiwis. It still is, which is kind of crazy. Guys, I don't think I have an obsession of this week. I am reading a new book for my book club, and it is called, I think, No One Left. It is so good so far. I started it on Monday, or no, today's Monday. I think I started it on Saturday or Sunday of this weekend, and it's Monday currently right now, and I'm almost done with it. It's so good. I love listening to audiobooks, and that's not really an obsession. I always tell you guys what book I'm reading right now, but my love of the week, I think, is just being tired. I think I say that every week. It's joint pain or being tired. Actually, okay, we'll just flip it to what I already said. It's like trying to balance everything. I had my first not even coaching, but I had my first seminar for school, and it was more of a small group, like 10 people, and another health coach talking to us. She pretty much asked us, like, what's something you need less of and something you need more of, and I said, I think I need less of my career because I'm very driven in the way of, okay, let's work hard and accomplish as much as I can. I'm so young. This is when you're supposed to be working hard and grinding and all that stuff. But then I realize how exhausted my life is, and I think that doing my podcast, doing my health coaching, doing my 2 jobs is taking away from my social life, and I already have a very low social battery. So I wonder if it's impacting me in a negative way. I'm like honestly completely content. Obviously you always want like a big friend group and to have plans all the time, but I don't know if I could handle it. As much as I would love to have a big friend group, I don't know if I could mentally, like energy wise, do it. I just love coming back to my apartment and it being completely silent, and I don't have to worry about anyone. I'm just in my I'm just on my big couch in my living room. Like it's a studio, but I'm just editing my podcast, or I'm doing my school, and I literally don't talk to anyone for hours, and I kind of love it. Or I go outside on my little patio, and I guess I'm just living this quiet, peaceful life, and I'm so grateful, and I don't want to move anytime soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it for like updates. I do love talking to you guys every week. I started reaching out to people to come on the podcast, which is very exciting. I keep talking about this in every episode, but it really is exciting. Okay, let's just get into today's episode because I didn't plan anything, so I have no updates for y'all. Okay, let's talk about why I decided to get a dog. Well, first off, in high school, my family dog Spunky died when I was, I think, a freshman in high school or sophomore in high school. I am just one of those people that needs to get another dog immediately. And cute little puppy fixes everything. So my parents really didn't want to get another dog right away, and I don't think they could have afforded it. So I decided I was going to put my money towards a dog. So I bought our family dog in high school, my sophomore year of high school. Misha. Loved that dog. Pretty much she was my dog until my parents were able to pay me back for her, which is a kind of a weird concept, but I wanted a dog so bad and nothing's going to get in my way. So I bought a dog in high school. I kind of just always felt like she was my dog. And so I've always said, I'm taking her to college. She's coming with me. I just always knew that I was going to have a dog in college. I couldn't imagine not having a dog because I've always grew up with a dog. And so college came around and I told my parents that, and they're like, there's no way you're not taking her. She's our family dog. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to buy another dog then. And so my freshman year of college, I was obsessed with getting a dog, and I cannot do shedding. It is just not a thing. So we always grew up with a part poodle dog. We've always had cockapoos, which is a cocker spaniel mixed with a poodle. But I want to be even more bougie than that and get a golden doodle. I didn't know what labradoodles were. I wonder if I would have looked into that, or Australian doodles. It was my winter break of my freshman year of college, and I lived in the dorms. I don't really know why I thought this was a great idea. I was on Craigslist because that's where we bought my last dog from, so I didn't know Craigslist was sketchy. Also, remind yourself that I'm literally 17 years old, 18 years old. I'm pretty young. And so I find a dog off Craigslist that says Mini Golden Doodle. She's so cute. And me and my friend at the time go drive down to San Diego. The person told us to meet at this time, and we met, I said meet at a gas station, or not a gas station, at a police station. And I'm sitting there for almost an hour and the lady never shows up. So I end up going back home. I drove from San Diego all the way back to LA, and I messaged her kind of upset, and she ends up messaging, why would you show up if no one confirms with you? I'm like, we literally agreed on this yesterday. She told us that she was in Mexico for some family thing, and so that was obviously sketch. But San Diego is close to Mexico, okay? Whatever. And she kept changing the number or just being very vague. I was like, okay, this is a scam, or the dogs are sick or something, whatever. And so we end up meeting again the next day. And she was also like, I need to get rid of these dogs. So that's why I was confused she didn't show up the first time around. So I go back to San Diego with my friend. I think my friend didn't come with me the first time, whatever. And the dog is there. And she just needs a bath, and they had papers for me. So I was like, okay, this was actually legit. And I gave them, I think, $2,000. I don't know how I had $2,000 at this point, but I gave them $2,000. And I named her Suki. So I got Suki my freshman year of college, and it was during winter break, literally the week of Christmas. And Suki had diarrhea. She smelled really bad. So when I was at work, my mom took her to a vet, and the vet said she was fine. And then she still wasn't eating, I think, and she felt very skinny but bloated. So I took her to another vet in Orange County because my parents took her to some small little place in LA. She tested positive for parvo. And if you don't know what parvo is one of the most deadly dog diseases in puppies. Many, many dogs don't survive it. I was upset at my mom for not going to a better vet because maybe we would have had one more day. It wasn't really her fault. I was just upset. So I had Suki for 3 days, I think, and then she was in the hospital for 4 days. And I think if a dog is in the hospital for 5 days, then they most likely will survive. As soon as I found out that Suki had parvo, I obviously immediately started bawling my eyes out. The vet that we went to, this was still the vet my parents went to. And they told me that if we go with them, they won't make me spend more than $1,000. The rest will be free. And they were only going to do so much for her. But I was already so attached to this dog that I was like, I don't care. I want you to do anything and everything you can. And then we called a family friend, and they said they would only have someone with her during the day and whatever. It'd be cheap too, like $1,000. But we decided to go get a second opinion at a nicer vet. The thing is, it was Christmas time, so there was really odd hours. So we ended up taking her to an emergency hospital at night and then to the vet I currently go to during the day. So she had 24-hour care because she was, I think, 2 pounds or something insane. And she had a feeding tube. She got infusion. She got bone marrow. She got all this crazy stuff because she could not keep food down. And I would go visit her every single day to transfer her from hospitals, and she just looked so sad. I thought she was really gonna pull through because I would call and they were saying she was doing good and she only had 1 more day left in her. And I was like, okay, maybe we caught it soon enough. I got the call when I was at work that she died. I immediately broke down. I ended up spending $10,000 in total of purchasing her and the medical bills of trying to save her. And my mindset at that point was nobody else would try to save her. So if she ended up with anybody else, she would be dead already. And this is when she was still alive. So I was like, if she lives, this will all be worth it. I would have been the one person that I didn't care about the money. I just wanted her to live. And obviously she didn't. And I ended up going into debt by my aunt paid for it. And then I had to pay her back. But obviously that took a really long time. That was a lot of money. And I was immediately traumatized. So I was already depressed in college my freshman year. And so that obviously didn't help. I was so upset with the people that sold me her because who does that around Christmas time? And obviously they probably knew that the litter was sick because if one dog has parvo, they all have parvo. So they're probably from Mexico. That's why she was coming back from Mexico. And I just should have not gone through with it, And obviously it was really sad. I literally thought about that dog every single day for the longest time. I was so sad that I looked at photos of dogs every single day on Facebook Marketplace, on rescues for doodles, on anywhere you can get, what's it called? Breeders. I was looking at anything and everything of where I could get another dog because I was so sad and wanted one still so badly. One night I realized if I don't do this logistically, if I don't plan out how to get a dog, I'm going to end up accidentally a rash decision and purchasing another sick dog because I wasn't thinking clearly. I just wanted one so badly. And so that's when I found Miso. I just heard a lot of people talking about getting golden doodles from Utah. So I went on Instagram and I looked up Utah golden doodles. And that's where I found Miso's breeder. And they, at the time, I don't know if they're still called this, were called legacy doodles, golden doodles maybe. And it was just a mom where she breeded her own dog, and Miso was their last litter. And they only did it once a year, and she had kids and they had cats and they had a big backyard. And so I was like, okay, I like this. It's not a mega breeder where they're having it's not a puppy mill basically. They just do this as a side thing. It's not like their job, which I really liked. So I messaged her a few times telling her about my story because I knew that I couldn't go through Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or any other sketchy site. I needed to do this right. And I was on the list and Facebook groups for so many dog rescues with doodles too, and it's just so competitive. My chances were not high at all. I ended up putting a deposit for Miso in February of my freshman year, and he wasn't going to be born. He wasn't even conceived yet until October. Wait, until his birthday's in September. I don't know. I think his birthday's in November, or maybe I got him in November. His birthday's in September, and I got him in November. So I ended up putting a deposit down on Miso. It was only $500, and I was the 6th pick. So the entire time, I ended up finishing off my freshman year. The breeder messaged us all the time, updating us if the dog got pregnant yet, and was very active on social media throughout the entire pregnancy and birth and all of that. And we had to wait quite a while to pick which dog we wanted, to wait for their personalities to come in, their coats and what they looked like and everything. But I was locked in. I was so obsessed. They were so cute. You know, a lot of people tried to warn me about getting a dog. They're saying people end up resenting them when you're so young. They don't train them. I got into so many fights about that I'm not equipped to have a dog. It's not humane to get a dog in college and all these things. And I understand where someone's coming from. I love my dog. My dog is my literal child. And I knew that going into it. And I also lived in SLO, which is such an outdoorsy, dog-friendly place where I wasn't worried about it. And in college, I always had a place with a yard. I currently don't, but Miso comes to work with me, and it's not an issue. He's not stuck in my apartment all day. But you know what? I knew I was going to be fine. I was going to work it out, and I kind of was ready for the challenge. Flash forward to actually getting Miso. This was such an adventure. So I drove from Cal Poly SLO all the way down to LAX to my parents, and then they drove me to LAX. From LAX, I did a 1-day trip. I flew as early as I could because I was so excited to get him to Utah, picked him up. It was like maybe a half an hour or more hour drive to their house and back. Flew from Utah back to LA, went to my parents. Everyone met the dog. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. Going back to when Suki got sick, she actually got my family dog Misha sick, and Misha was in the hospital all of Christmas, which was really traumatic for my family. And what's crazy is Misha did not like Suki, would not even come close to her. So we think Misha knew that Suki was sick, which is really sad. So we were really afraid for Misha to meet Miso. I come back, Miso meets my family, and then I drove from, I think, LA to Orange County, and then Orange, which is also in Orange County, to meet my friends and my sister. And then we drove from Orange County all the way to to LA, UCLA. So Miso met my boyfriend, and then from LA to SLO, that's where I lived. So Miso was already set, and the car did really well, just slept in my lap the entire time, and I was obviously in love with him from the very start. And when it went into picking which dog I wanted, Miso was actually my second choice, which is really funny because I think I picked the best dog. So there was, I think, 8 dogs, or maybe, no, there was 8 or 10 dogs, and I was 6th pick. And I think there was 8. So there's 4 girls and 4 boys. And I honestly didn't have a preference between a boy and a girl. So Miso was $2,500 and a girl was $3,000. Or maybe Miso was $2,000 and a girl was $2,500. I just remember there was a $500 difference. But I really didn't care. I've had a boy dog and I've had a girl dog growing up. and I pretty much just cared about what they looked like and their coat style. So when I didn't go out to Utah to meet the dogs, but she FaceTimed me. She told me about all the dogs. Miso, I had a picture of one dog that was picked. The first person that picked a dog picked that dog, which is obvious. So obviously couldn't get that one. And then all the girls were taken by the time that I was picking. I was picking from one more because someone only wanted a girl and they were all taken. And I picked Miso because she said he was the most quiet and isolated and just was always on his own, which is funny because he's such an attention whore. But she also told me that he had a straight coat and he was the lightest color, so he would get darker and he would be easier for grooming wise because he had straight hair. But then there was another dog that was a little bit curlier but had thicker hair, so that one also wouldn't matter as much. And my mom helped me pick Miso, and I was like, okay, I'll pick Miso. They all looked really cute. His name was Pumpkin at the time, and he was also the smallest boy, which I really wanted as well. So I got him right away. And pretty much what I told my roommates because I lived there before having a dog, but they knew I was getting a dog when I decided to live with them. I basically told them, like, whatever's out in the living room is fair bet for Miso. We had doggy gates. I was like, just don't have anything on the floor. He's going to be crate trained. So if I'm in class, he'll be in his crate. But if you guys want to play with him, you can play with him. But obviously clean up after him, put him back in his crate. But like, he's supposed to be in my crate. And if you want to take him out, he's your responsibility in that moment. But if like you don't want to have that responsibility, leave him in his crate because he's fine in there. He did cry a lot. Honestly, was fine. I really didn't have that much class, maybe 2 hours time blocks throughout the day, which is fine. A puppy needs to sleep a lot, so he would just be in his crate. I had a yard my sophomore year. All my roommates loved him. We did have issues when he was trying to get potty trained. It took him longer than it should have just because I moved so much. But once he got it down, he was fine. And then probably him just bringing in dirt was like the biggest issue. But what I realized about getting a dog, and what you have to realize, is a lot of people don't remember what the puppy phase is. So when you're getting a dog, remind yourself that they have to be potty trained. They can't go outside and walk because of parvo. You have to keep them inside, but you still have to be able to train them. And they also bite so much. It's ridiculous. If you're trying to crate train them, they cry so much. Luckily, okay, so for the potty training thing, I lucked out in the point that Miso doesn't wake up early. So he would sleep the entire night through with me and not have to go to the bathroom, which was nice. He's not really crate trained anymore, which is unfortunate. He does go in his crate every once in a while. Honestly, everyone that told me you shouldn't get a dog in college, you're not going to take care of it, was so false. I think I did a really great job. I think that I definitely get mom guilt in the way if I leave him anywhere, I feel really bad. And I think that's very common. I got Miso training immediately. You know, I ended up living with someone who also had a Labradoodle my junior year for half the year. And Miso loved having a brother and they played all the time. And that helped me a lot with leaving him at home because he had another dog to play with him. Him living in SLO was a great thing. We would go and walk every day, all day. I guess let me share with you like what not to do if you get a dog, because there are so many things that I would change if I got another dog or if I would just go back and do. One of the things was I originally wanted Miso to be a service dog. I think everyone probably thinks that, but I really wanted Miso to be extremely trained, be able to go anywhere with me, have no issues, you know, a girl's dream. And so I found this place in SLO that was very affordable. And I was doing group training classes with him once a week for a long time, for probably over a year. He did great in the first 6 weeks. And then we did the next course. And he just barked the entire 1 hour class. And it gave me so much anxiety because I was so embarrassed. There was nothing that the instructors can do, that I could do, that could keep him quiet besides giving him a bully stick. And what they told me was that as he gets older, his barking will die down. He's just a puppy. It's just like this. So Miso wasn't reactive, didn't have issues. And I now think he's reactive, not in the way that he's aggressive, but reactive in, I guess, aggressive. Like, he's not going to hurt anyone. He just has a very loud and scary bark and is easily frightened. So he just barks at everything and anyone. And it is scary for other people because they see this super cute little fluffy dog and then all of a sudden he's angrily barking at you and you're like, oh my God, is the dog gonna bite me? And I'm like, no, he's actually terrified of you. So I think that his barking, like his anxiety, came from going to these dog classes, which the trainers told me were fine for him and that he was going to get over this and it's just a phase, because there was other dogs there and he was afraid. I was putting him in a situation every single week that he obviously didn't need to be in. It wasn't fun for me. It wasn't fun for him. It wasn't fun for anybody else in the class. And the instructors should have told me, stop bringing your dog here. It's actually not helping him. It's making him worse, because he kind of got worse. I did learn really useful things that I still use, but still they could have had me do an online class or something. And then secondly, the one downfall about getting a dog in college was I moved a lot. And other people probably don't move this much. They either live in their hometown, or their college is in their hometown, or they don't go home that much. I moved Miso so much in the terms of during school, I was in SLO, and then I would go home for Christmas break and for summers, and I would go visit Max all the time, and I'd bring him everywhere and anywhere with him, anywhere I went. And I think that he just got very overwhelmed and anxious in a way, and I think that was really hard on him. And so that's why now I don't really let anyone watch him. So many people offer to watch him, and I either ask for them to come to my apartment. So the only places I really have him go is my apartment, my parents' house, and Max's parents' house. And I don't really let anyone else watch him overnight, just because I want him to feel kind of safe and know where he goes to bed and stuff. And I think I should have given him more of a routine, basically, kind of like a kid. So obviously Miso did not become a service dog. Nowhere close. I think I could maybe make him a therapy dog when he's older and just can go anywhere and is quiet and doesn't bark as much. I just want him to be able to like come to dinner with me, come to work with me, and not bother anyone, not bark at everyone. His main training issues is barking and jumping, which honestly isn't that bad. I know a lot worse dogs, and I really did do my best. I put the money into it. I put the time into it. So it's not like I didn't try. It's just those things for him isn't working. I've literally tried everything in the book to make him stop barking. But I've also realized that a lot of things break your trust with your dog. This is such a niche episode for people who have dogs. But a lot of things break your trust with your dog. Whether that's getting a shock collar, spraying them with water, doing just, I don't know, anything that scares them. And I think that a lot of the stuff I tried to do with Miso to make him stop barking or just listen better or train him made him not trust me in a way. We didn't bond. Like, he used to cuddle me and sleep with me on my face, like, literally every night. And then for a long time, he wouldn't even come on the bed. And I think he was actually angry at me and not happy. And I know some people are like, it's just a dog, but it's not. When you get a dog this young, he's your child, or the dog is your child. But yeah, if you're getting a new dog, I would just pay a lot of attention to the lifestyle that you live. You're gonna have to make a lot of sacrifices of like not going places or being okay that your dog can't go there. I'm very intentional too. Like, I will not take Miso to a dog park. I won't take him to the dog beach. Like I said, he's an aggressive player too. So I just get nervous with him playing with other dogs because I don't want him to snap or the other dog to snap. I'm just really afraid of that, and I don't want anyone to think I'm a bad owner. So I try to keep his group of dog friends small. But I think that being in my 20s and living alone and having a dog is the best thing ever. I don't know if I could live alone without him, and he forces me to go outside. He is such a great thing. Like, if you're trying to date or make friends, get a dog. It is the best way to meet people. Yeah, I don't think Miso healed my depression, but he's definitely helped it. He has given me more anxiety just because I always worry about him. And what's really weird to me is that Miso is going to meet my kids one day. He's going to be an old doggy, but he's going to meet my kids, which is so weird to think about. And another thing about if you're thinking of getting a dog, just the financial aspect of it, you have to get dog insurance. There are so many people who get a dog and can't afford to get it the medication or the surgery. And it's like, I pay $50 a month for Miso to have dog insurance, and I don't make it back, I don't think, a year, but if he ever needed a surgery, my other dog, Suki, obviously I couldn't get dog insurance. I had her for 4 days, but let's say she got that sick a year in, I would have only probably paid $1,000, maybe $2,000 of the 10 grand, which would have been really nice. So whenever Miso has an infection or he needs medication or anything, it's always covered, which is super nice. Even some of his shots are covered, so that's definitely super important. Another thing about being aware of getting a dog is that housing, a lot of places do not allow you to have dogs. So I had a hard time in SLO finding a place that would let me have a dog, and then even in Orange County. I do want to get Miso as a certified like emotional support animal or whatever at one point. But yeah, it's nice to have structure in my day of like knowing, okay, we have to go out on a walk. I try to do things that he would love to do, and it's mainly outside, so it's probably good for my mental health. And I am slowly trying to train him to go out and socialize again. Mainly socialize, like, okay, so yesterday we went to a coffee shop together and he did really good. I just have to give him a bully stick, and then after he has the bully stick and finishes it, because he finishes it so fast, he usually is just chill by that point unless he sees another dog. But I think it's slow progress, and he is 2.5, so I'm kind of just waiting for the point. I feel like that's kind of sad. Like, I'm waiting for my dog to get a little bit older, maybe like 3, so he quite calms down a little bit. Yeah, I think he generally has a very happy life. Another thing to just look out for of getting a dog is whether you're able to bring him to work with you, if you work from home, or like what's that situation. I currently don't have a yard. My compromise was he comes to work with me, and there's actually another dog there, so they just play 24/7 together. I definitely want a yard in the next place I live. That's definitely really important for a dog, but you have to actually play with them. Having a yard doesn't mean anything unless you actually play with them, because sometimes if a dog goes on a walk, they'll actually get more exercise if you don't walk them. But Miso, I think, has really been genuinely so much more happy since me being able to bring him to work and him playing with another dog all day. As soon as I come home from work, Miso just sleeps the rest of the day because he's so exhausted. Yeah, I honestly think that getting a dog is such a pure joy. You just really have to be prepared for it. Don't make a rash decision about it. Like, even though I did, I still knew the work that it took to put into a dog, and I kind of treat him like my child. So honestly, he's kind of more work than a kid sometimes. I really don't think it's okay for people to get a dog and then not feed them, not take them on walks, take them to parties and stress them out. Like, that's not... It's kind of like those frat guys that get a dog. The dog, like, gets some illness and they can't pay for it, and the dog just dies. Like, encountered a lot of people who get a dog in college and don't treat the dog well. And so I totally understand the people that, like, tell you not to get a dog. There are people like me who got a dog and actually treat their dog well, and their dog has a happy life. Miso is always a work in progress. I love him very much. I think my favorite part about having a dog is snuggles. That's like why I got a dog, pretty much, to like snuggle with and go on walks and just like have, like, when he's happy, I'm so happy. But he does piss me off. He's literally a kid. Like, he pisses me off sometimes. Like, even when I'm mad at him, I still love him, obviously. I just ranted about that. I definitely want another dog so that Miso has someone to play with, but I think by the time that I could get a second dog, Miso wouldn't even want another dog because he'd be older. And I definitely, the next dog I'd get would be Max and I's dog, and I wouldn't get another dog until we have a yard for the both of them. That would be a lot of moving, so who knows? That's probably not for a long time. So I don't even know if we'd actually do that. But yeah, it's also really nice. Like, I have so much help with Miso. So I think if you are planning to get a dog, having like, everyone tells you, oh, watch your dog. Nobody actually does. Like, your friends in college aren't actually going to help you with your dog. So take that into account. But family, my parents always watch Miso for me. Max's family always watches Miso for me. I knew that if Max was here, he would help me with Miso more. Just also having that support, because I couldn't travel as much as I could or make last minute plans without my family being here. When I was working an in-office corporate job and I couldn't bring Miso, luckily my mom was working right next to my house. she works night shifts, so she would pick up Miso at 7 in the morning when she got off of work, and then she'd bring him back at like 7 p.m. basically, so when I would get back, and I would just have him at night, kind of like co-parenting. But that was a very unique situation for pretty much a lot of the summer, which was nice because Misa was at home with my parents and while I was at work, and then when my parents went to work, she dropped him off with me. A dynamic like that's not really realistic, but was really helpful for him because he was so, like, he just cried the entire 8 hours. And one, I was worried about getting kicked out of my apartment, but two, the dog cried and howled for 8 hours straight. That is not good for a dog. Okay, that's all I have really to say about getting a dog. It's a huge time, money commitment, but it is so rewarding when you do put in all that time and money. I think long-term goal for Miso and like fixing his barking and jumping would ideally just send him to a training camp, like an overnight one, and get him back in a week. He might be too old for that now. Ideally, I should have done that. It's just super expensive, and sometimes it doesn't work. My biggest recommendations are don't push your dog to do anything it doesn't want to do, like that stresses it out, because you don't want your dog to be defiant in the end. Make sure you have a good support system to help you, kind of like if you're having a baby. You gotta love going out, talking to people, especially if you're an introvert. You're gonna talk to a lot of people, going outside, going on walks. Make sure you train your dog as much as you can, or get a trainer. Buy high quality food. Get dog insurance is probably my number one thing. And honestly, just enjoy it. You know yourself best. And I literally can't think about my life without Miso. He's my best friend. I kiss him 24/7. I kiss him so much, and I give him so many hugs because he's just the best thing ever. And he's so cute. I think about that all the time. Do dogs know about discrimination? Because there are people that I love golden doodles way more than I don't even know, like bulldogs or something. So I wonder if they know, because Miso gets so much more attention than X dog, or that dog gets way more attention than him, and I wonder if they know. Like, why don't I get attention? I just have such a big heart, so I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for dogs. And I wish I could handle dog hair. I want a golden retriever so bad, but they shed the most, so that'd make no sense. But I love doggies. Okay. That's all I have for you guys about getting a dog in your 20s. I hope you guys like this episode. Is more of just me storytelling and kind of sharing of what I would change if I were to redo getting a dog. I am glad that I got Miso when I was in college, because now I have no time to raise a puppy. A lot of people were like, oh, why don't you wait? But when I was in college, I barely went to school, and I just had a lot more flexibility with getting a puppy. It was really hard, and I remember crying to Max, like, this is so hard. Like, why is he biting me so much? And just all that stuff. But I'm glad I got him. I would never take it back. And so thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you liked hearing about Miso, and just if you're thinking about getting a dog, let me know. Make sure you're following the Instagram, My Perspective Pod, and you follow the show. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Okay, bye.